So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and my co-host, Scouse Andy. How are you, mate? You all right, Scouse?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm great, mate. Do you know what? I'm getting a bit sick of doing this late every week because it seems like we're always at the back end and everyone else's pods are out. But yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing good. So yeah, it's another episode, and this is a Victory Thursday. We're going to call it. So 3-3 now, the Commanders, after a good win against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday, 24-16. But we'll get into the game a bit later on. And we'll start with our first segment, as always, mate, which is the news. So looking at the news, there's not a massive amount of news going on. Jamison Crowder was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Well done, Jamison. We'll get onto that a little bit later. We have re-signed Abdullah Anderson to the practice squad, who was cut and released to make way so F.A. Obada could come back onto the roster. He is now on the practice squad. I would not be surprised if he gets called up again this weekend. And then we are also, weirdly enough, the betting favourites for Bill Belichick to come to the Commanders at the end of the season.
That's
so
a joke.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are your thoughts on that?
Don't put your money on that, guys. If you're listening, if anyone listening out there, do not put your money on that. It's never going to happen. And the guy's finished anyway. This guy's not been able to prove that he can do anything without a good quarterback. You know what I mean? So, nah, not for me. Goodbye. See you later. And I call him Bill Bella cheat, by the way, because he cheats all the time. So I don't want that marking our new era as Washington Commanders with new ownership with a cheat like him. So no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not into it. He's probably the greatest coach in the NFL. You've got a guy.
Oh, he's one of the biggest cheats in the NFL.
But is it all down to Brady? I mean, we'll find out, Matt.
It's proven. It's proven it's down to Brady. Brady left.
Matt Jones.
He's still won a Super Bowl. He's got a crap quarterback now, and he's done nothing with him. So shows that it was mostly Brady. You know, Belichick.
The offensive coordinator's had a lot to do with that as well. To be fair, I mean, if you've got Matt Patricia back out there, come on,
Matt Patricia.
Yeah, he was there. He was there for a while.
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah, he's not there now, is he?
Yeah, he went back. Yeah.
Oh, did he go back? Did he?
He was there last season. Yeah. Because he went to the Lions, didn't he? He was head coach of the Lions.
Yeah, I thought he was head coach. Yeah, then he got sacked.
And then he got sacked, and he went back with Bill Belichick to the Patriots. So yeah.
Yeah, but he's done nothing, has he? Since Brady's gone. So again, these guys can't even got zeroed at home just last week.
That's true.
So no, thank you. Stay far away from that, Josh. If you're listening,
yeah,
Josh,
I want to see
don't hire him. Just don't
I want to see a young offensive guru, if you like, the Mike McDaniel type guy.
We've had these guys. This is really pissed me off. Like, we've had these guys in the building and we let them go.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel's one of them. LaFleur, one of them.
LaFleur, Shanahan,
Sean McVay.
You know what I mean? All these guys are like the creme de la creme coaches, and we have had all of them, and still not got one. That's it.
I know. It's just frustrating, isn't it?
It makes me laugh, man. It's like, how bad can you be as an organization to like let those? I know it was the Snyder era, but still, how bad you can be to let those guys go. At least keep one of them. You know what I mean? If you want to like McVay over Shanahan or whatever, that's fine. But no.
Who's the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator?
And is it Ben Johnson?
That's it, Ben Johnson. He's a fantastic
coach.
Looks good.
He looks good. He'd be quite good as a head coach somewhere.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's here, to be fair.
You don't think it'd be EB?
Surprised. No, I don't.
You don't think it's going to be EB? That's interesting.
I think he'd be gone with the other two. Really? I really do, yeah. At the end of the day, show me what you're doing. That's not me trying to be disrespectful. I understand he needs time. I understand he's not been play calling before, but show me what the difference in this offense is, because I can't see the difference between this and Scott Turner.
Well, the difference is, how many points are we averaging?
I get that, but that's better.
He's there for offense, isn't he? He's there for
quarterback play as well, though, isn't it? You've got to think as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was okay. He's got a better quarterback than what he had last year. But no, he wasn't here. But what we had last year, okay, but. The overall average of points, we're putting points on the board, man. We just can't keep it. That's the problem. So I understand, like, there is still problems with the offense, but and that's always going to get better. That's going to get better the more you play. It's only week 6 or week 7 now.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So
give him the
let's
season
review.
first, and then
Yeah,
say,
exactly
okay,
that. Let's
is he
review
good
it.
enough or not? And jury's out for me on EB at the moment. But again, yeah, Ben
Mhm.
Johnson will be a quite nice addition if we do decide to go away from EB.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as
Sure,
well. The
sure.
jury's out. That's what I meant. It's kind of at the moment. It's a show me what you've got. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
sure, exactly. Yeah,
And tell me.
and it is. I say there's going to be bumps in the road. You know what I mean? And there has been. So
Mhm.
hopefully it'll continue to get better. But we'll see how against we take on top teams.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. So let's
Mhm.
review this game then. So 24-16 win then against Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, pushing us to a 3-3 record. I'll go through the stats quickly for you, Scouse and the listeners. Sam Howell, 14 of 23, 151 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 120 and 5 sacks. We'll get on to that. Brian Robinson, 10 carries, 31 yards, and a passing TD. Terry was the top target for catches, 6 targets, 81 yards. And then it was Curtis Samuel with 4 targets and 42 yards. And on the other side of the coin for the Falcons, Desmond Ridder was 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a 66 quarterback rating, and 307 yards through the air. Taylor Algier, is that what is it? Tyler Algier?
Allergy, yeah.
Yeah, 13 carries for 51 yards. He was the top running back, so clearly we kept Bijan quite quiet. And Drake London, he was 9 receptions for 125. On the defensive side of the ball, then Cody Barton, 15 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. He was the top performer on defense. Shout out to Cody Barton. I mean,
He had a good game. He had a good
had
game,
a good
man.
game, very good game.
I think
Cameron Kerr was next, 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Then we've got Jamin Davis with 8 tackles, 4 solo tackles, 1 sack, 1 pass deflection, and 1 interception. And then Benjamin St. Juice and Kendall Fuller also got an interception. And your mate Joey Sly kicked absolutely everything, 1 field goal and 3 extra points. And he is on for a franchise record if he kicks 7 more kickoffs as touchbacks. He is not.
Oh, really?
Every single one of his kicks has been a touchback this season.
Yeah, it's
Every
true. Yeah, well,
single
he's
one.
got a leg. That's insane. He's just not accurate. That is a problem. The kickoffs, you don't need to be. Just boot it up the field. You know what I mean?
So what do you think made us win this then on Sunday? Because it was an up and
I
down
think
roller coaster game, wasn't it? Really?
it was a roller coaster game, and it was one of them games that was definitely a banana skin. They had a 3-2 record at home, and I mentioned on a different pod, with Deuce. Desmond Ridder was unbeaten at home in his whole career.
Yeah.
NFL and college, there's 31 games he was unbeaten at home. Yeah, Desmond Ridder, 31 games, unbeaten at home. We go in there and win. Typical Washington, as you've always mentioned. You mentioned that before.
Breakers.
We either break streaks, good or bad, depending which way it goes, which way it is, and we always do that. So it was definitely a good win. And I think the biggest thing that was there's 2 major things I think that was the most important things that actually got us to win. 1, starting position, as in field position when we first on offense, and 2, in the interceptions, the turnovers that we created. They were the 2 biggest things that made us win this game. I mean, Sam Howell, you mentioned, he had 150 yards. Didn't really throw the ball that much, 20 odd times. Again, that's where you want him to be. You want him to be about 25, 30 max, no more than that. And we didn't need to be because we were in better field positions because our defense was doing a better job. And then we got the points, we got the TDs, 3 TDs, no interceptions. Again, clean game from an offensive point of view from Howell, but obviously besides the sacks that we're going to talk about in a bit. And obviously the 3 TDs are just the 3 interceptions are so important, man. I mean, Jamin Davis's one was just insane.
Yeah, it was great.
Right to the end. I mean, having outside leverage and then trying to cut across coming inwards means that he read that play before it was even thrown. Like it was just brilliant.
It was instinctive, wasn't it? Instinctive. I'm just gone. Yeah,
piece of play from a linebacker. Really, really excellent play. And yeah, man, I'm hoping he can continue and keep that going for next week and get another interception for us.
Yeah, I've got to give it. I mean, at first I thought, it's the same linebacking play again. The right up the middle with people like Kyle Pitts and Drake London. I was like, this is It's not
London did
going
kill us, to be
well.
fair. London did kill us.
I mean, 125 yards there. He had a good game. You can't deny that he had a decent game. Anything over 100, you're doing very well, aren't you? Really, you've had a
We do it every week, though.
decent
Have you
day.
noticed that? No matter how well we play
Mhm.
as defense, we give up somebody who's given a 100-yard plus game.
Yeah, it's always the top receiver, isn't it? Every time.
Yeah, it's interesting, that, isn't
Look
it?
at that.
That we can't stop the main guy.
Brown, Diggs, and London. Yeah, that's four. And who is it for? Did we have anyone? Oh well, no, probably not the top guy for
The
Denver, but
cards.
obviously
Hollywood
there
Brown.
was Hollywood Brown. Yeah, he had a decent game,
But
and
yeah,
then for
I don't think
Denver,
he got 100 yards, but I think everybody else literally has had a 100-yard game against
yeah,
us for the last 5 games.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy considering like that. Some games we've actually played quite well. Okay, some games have been absolutely terrible, and we think that the world ended. No, I mean, I thought the world ended when we got beat by the Bears.
Yeah, I did too.
And I was like, mate, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. But they came back and they obviously started doing their jobs better. And yeah, happy with the win for sure.
I am too. And Cody Barton, I mean, we've dug him out on here many a time. I thought John Taylor was going to have a heart attack, as you said, because he's, he cannot stand Cody Barton, which I understand why, but he had his best game that we've had in a long time. So fair play to him. He did really well. We've got to shout him out there and say,
what do you think? Do you think like we actually played a little bit more? I'd say aggressive on defense. A little bit.
Yeah,
more.
I think it was that Cinco package worked, and that's the point, isn't it?
Didn't it? I mean, Algier was all right, but I mean, we stopped Bijan. Algier didn't really threaten us too much, even though his average per carry was okay. Single package was huge. I think we played better in our offense. We played better in our defense in that 5-man front. 100%.
We do, but the problem with that Cinco package in the 5-man front and having Ridgeway in there is you can't do that every game. It has to be game specific. So for me,
anyone who's got a good running back,
yeah, exactly that. So this is something I would like to see this weekend. Week. Yeah, there you go, exactly. Yeah, so we're both singing off the same song sheet obviously. So who stood out for you then? Any real standouts for you this week?
Oh, yeah, I mean, offensively, I think you've got to give it to Lucas, man. I think you really do.
He was incredible.
He's outstanding. He hasn't played. He plays a little bit of snap here, a snap there, and then he was forced into it. Wasn't obviously expecting to start.
Yeah.
And obviously, the horrible news to Mr. Leno and his family.
Absolutely, and prayers to them.
Prayers out for you guys, and then he steps right in, and then actually gives up 0 pressures.
None, 0. Yeah, no, it was absolutely ridiculous.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of.
So would you then? We always like a good offensive line chat on this pod, and I was so happy and impressed with the clean pockets that were happening for Sam Howell. But unfortunately, obviously, we'll get onto it. Sam backed himself into at least 3 of them sacks. 2 of them were obviously running as well. So I would. Although the Atlanta came into that game with 5 sacks, came out of that game with 10 sacks, and all 5 of them were on Sam Howell. No doubt about it, they were all on Sam Howell. There were not one single one on the offensive line.
Well, you mentioned there about 2 of them when he was running.
Mm-hmm.
If you get caught as you're running behind the line of scrimmage, it's classed as a sack, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Now, Sam was running a lot. He had to run a lot, I thought. Not like 30 yards down the field. I'm talking just trying to maneuver to save because of the pressure he was under at times. But yeah, his biggest flaw at the moment is he holds the ball too long. Yeah. But again, and it's that thing, isn't it? It's like he wants to make a play. So he's hoping that the receiver gets open. If there's a guy open, he finds him.
So do you think it's drawing the route? Do you think it's the way that the routes are being drawn up then on the actual plays and they're taking too long? Because I saw a stat out there that said we were the 3rd longest team in our receivers breaking out of their routes and getting to the point
doesn't it?
Of attack.
It does, doesn't it? This is what shocks me about kind of EB's system. We thought it'd be a genuine West Coast offense, which is all about the short and intermediate. But it looks like because Howell's got an arm, maybe we'll try and do a bit of a hybrid type of thing where it's a little bit no, Air
It's a little
Courier,
bit Air Coryell, isn't it?
uh,
A little bit West Coast. It's a
little
bit of
West
both.
Coast. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like a kind of a his own flavor to it, but it's just kind of
And that's probably why I
but
said
that can
earlier,
cost you.
show me the difference between that and Scott Turner's, because from what I'm seeing when I watch it, it doesn't look that much different from the plays that we're having of the long. It's gone from dink and dunk. Yeah, that's not there, but it's the long ball. It just seems to take forever to establish itself. So do you think that's part
Well,
of
that's
the
the thing. Is
reason?
yeah, part of the reason definitely. I mean, there's so many reasons why Sam's hold on to the ball. One, if you go off his skill set and his mental ability at the moment is trying to make a play. No, like trying like every single play he wants to
Mm-hmm.
make a big play, which is obviously a bit like hero ball, which does lead you into mistakes. And you can tell he fights himself. You can tell like his natural instinct is to do this, and he's trying to. You can see he's physically trying to think, no, 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 don't do that. And that extra second's enough to get him killed. And so he holds the ball too long from one angle. Then the other angle is the receivers getting open. No, sometimes they are and he misses it. Okay, every rookie quarterback misses a receiver even there when they're open and he misses the third read or whatever because some guy's in his face. I mean, fair enough. But as you mentioned as well, it could be play call. It
Mm.
could be kind of like you're waiting for our receivers to actually get open, and our offensive line and him aren't good enough to hold it for 4 seconds. Like you need to open up these big plays. So again, there's a lot of elements to it. You know what I mean? Like it isn't just it's Sam Howell needs to throw the ball away or the offense needs to block better. There's so many different variances and so many different nuances to it. Why that's happening? EB's got to make it easier for him. You know what I mean? He's going to make it easier for him, which means not too. I mean, the odd deep ball here and there, sure, but a simple play call, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
I know where I'm
medium
going with this
routes.
straight away. You know, I mean, it's things like that. And we got to get the screen game better. I mean,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
really impressed with Sadiq Charles with it. He's really out there like mowing guys down.
On the Robinson touchdown,
yeah,
my God!
yeah,
I
man,
mean,
just ran
if
to
you
that
were a
guy.
defender looking at that,
Unreal.
looking at Sadiq Charles running at you, best of
Yeah,
luck.
man,
Because
I'm really shocked how well he's playing. I know he's given up a few sacks and a few pressures as well. You know, if you look at his
Mhm.
stats overall, but him in the screen game is really good. I
Yeah,
like.
and I mean, if we talk about this line, that as we've said before, the two problems going into the game, and we've definitely spoke about it, were Nick Gates at centre and Wiley. I mean, Wiley had his best game for us that he's had since he's been in, and as did Nick Gates. Against the Atlanta Falcons. But do you now look, because you know that Paul's not given up any pressures at all because he's the swing tackle? Do you put him at right guard and put Leno at left? Sorry, at tackle even, and then maybe drop Wiley to the bench,
Oh,
or
you
do you
mean play Lucas
continue?
right? You mean play Lucas right tackle? You mean?
Yeah, and then Charles Leno at left, because Charles Leno is obviously back in practice now, and it's
Yeah, yeah.
looking
It
like
just
he is going to
depends how
come in.
mentally is
Yeah,
Leno mentally ready. No, so something like that is just so horrible. You're not over that in a few
no,
days.
no,
You
you're
know
not,
what I
not at all.
mean? So I know he's back in practice and he's probably thinking that's a good distraction for him, but is he truly mentally in tune at this
I
moment?
know what you mean.
I'd
And
probably
the other
say
thing,
no. I'd probably say no. It's not
I
because
would too.
any person wouldn't be. So again, it's a big decision, and I don't think because you said Wiley had a decent game last week, and he did. You know, he did have a decent game, and he is EB's boy. So
He is,
unless
yeah, you're
Wiley
right.
goes down injured, I can't see Lucas getting a start. Even though Lucas had a great game and played the best game one of our offensive linemen's had all
Yeah, but
season.
what was weird though was Charles Leno was probably the only person to come out of that Bears game with any credit whatsoever. He had his best game
Yeah.
for us. So he's gone from Charles Leno's had a great game at left tackle. Then he's had to obviously go out for the reasons we spoke about. And then Lucas has come in and fucking outperformed everybody. And you're like, that's a head scratcher. And in a way, it's a good thing to have. Do you know what I mean? To say,
Oh,
well,
100%.
actually,
It's great
the
to have
depth
backup
is
like that
there. You know what I
quality.
mean?
100%. I mean, normally this guy would probably have a decent deal, but the problem is he's 32 years old. So you think, do you really want to give a 3-year deal to a guy that age? You don't, do you? You give him like 1-year deals every time and just hope that he sticks around. Because he could make go somewhere else next year. Who knows? Because his contract's up at the end of the season. If he's playing well and we don't give him the money or show him the love, he could be on his way as well. That'd be upsetting.
Any standouts for you on defense then, Scouse?
Standouts. I mean, it's always the usual people.
Yeah.
Now your Cam Curls, part of the D line was decent as well. But again, it wasn't. It was still a decent, solid job. The whole team
Yeah,
played
I
well.
think the whole team
Rather than
played well,
actually
didn't they, in the end?
pure individual brilliance. I'd say Barn had his best game for us. So I think Jamie Davis had a great game as well. But again, he's still always getting substituted. He's in and out the team all the time, and I don't understand that.
I've got to say, Casey Toohill had an amazing game. He was so good. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 4 quarterback pressures as well. He had a really good game. So shout out to him.
People like Chase Young, Montez Sweat to be getting.
Yeah. Who again? I mean,
Montez Sweat didn't do much, and then he went off with his thumb, didn't he? That's how Tua got more reps.
Yeah, he did. So maybe that has played a problem. But
at this moment, man, both these defensive ends are a little bit kind of. Chase is getting to the quarterback, but he's not actually hitting the quarterback enough, or he's not getting the sacks. So it's like, well, okay then. But he's getting there. Where Montez isn't getting there that often.
No, he's not.
The quarterback. So,
and what did you think of the 2-point stance from Chase? He stood up, trying to rush.
I don't mind. I don't mind changing up techniques. It's not a problem with that as long as he still beats his man. It doesn't matter how if he's down in the 4-point or the 2-point, it doesn't really matter as such. So, it might be his knee. Who knows? He might like to stand up more rather than be like totally bent down and then kind of like deep lunge positions, then try and like jump off it. Or maybe I don't know. It might just be preference, or might be even scheme. Might even say, yeah, Chase, do what you want, kind of thing. Or this play is actually him to be still up on 2-point. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we've got to mention it. Jamison Crowder, obviously named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week, as we said. 62-yard return. I mean, I honestly thought he is gone here. I was screaming at the TV. I thought, go on, son, you've got there. If he was probably 2 or 3 years younger, he made it. Stop looking behind you, Jameson, and wondering where the guy is.
Well, that's it. When you get older, that's what you do. Though you expect these young guys to catch you.
I know, yeah,
and that's what.
And they did. But that's what you were saying about short fields and having that short field makes it easier.
Oh, massively. It makes it so much easier on a young quarterback that you don't have to go 70, 80 yards every single time to get touchdowns. If you're like kind of in their red zone or inside their kind of 40, like most of the times, you're onto a winner. You really are. And that's why defense, and that's why special teams is very important. But we've never had any real playmakers that could break one and go all the way. We've not had many guys who could do that. That's 60 yards.
Jamison Crowder.
It's quite Jamison Crowder 8 years ago,
exactly,
2015.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not good, man. And it seemed again. Do you feel like we've neglected the punt returner over the years?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I
the only decent one we had was the guy.
I thought the guy who went to what was his name? He went to Chargers, and now he's at the Raiders. I think he's on IR at the minute.
I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, I can't either. I know
but he broke one for touchdown.
He did, yeah,
a long one. But besides, we didn't even keep him. We thought, he's got to be kept, and we didn't even keep him. It's like, yeah. So it's a bit weird sometimes. I find some of the decisions that the upper management make because he wasn't expensive. It wasn't like he was outpricing himself. I think he got the 2.5 mil, 2.5 mil deal.
Yeah, I can't even remember what his name.
At the Chargers.
Dear me, he's at the Raiders now. He's definitely in the Raiders. I think he's on IR. Oh dear, punt return. Anyway, I'll come back. DeAndre Carter. That's his name. Why did it couldn't come to my name to the head for some reason, but eventually you remember as is everything. Yeah, DeAndre Carter. He was a good, very good punt and kick returner. So I do think you're right. I do think they have neglected it quite a lot, and they don't see it as necessarily an area where they've thought, that's what we need to do.
Look at the difference from last week's game. That Crowder thing changed the momentum because I thought Atlanta were getting on top of us at that point. And then Crowder breaks that off, and then all the momentum swung right back to us. Well, neither one play, but it made the momentum just change massively.
Yeah.
That's why you need someone at the back who can actually do that, who's back there, a punt return, who can actually make something happen.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got a
Oh,
question here that's kind of on topic with this. So the Podfather Kyle Roenick, thanks and shout out to that. And if you haven't subscribed, please go and subscribe to the Burgundy Zone on YouTube. Great guys who are on there. But yeah, Kyle asks over under 10 snaps for Emmanuel Forbes this weekend. Now we
10
haven't got
snaps.
onto him. Yeah, 10. Now we haven't got onto Emmanuel Forbes. And he's obviously was benched. He's reacted to it quite well in the media by the looks of it. Seems like that kind of guy who has come in and gone, oh, yeah, I'm happy to listen. I'm happy to listen. But there's got to be something deep down there if you're a first round pick to be like, why am I not playing? But he has been burnt quite a lot. And Danny Johnson obviously came in and has done a good job for 2 games now, or 1.5 games since Forbes was benched. What's your thoughts? Do you think he'll have anywhere near 10 snaps or over that? I mean, we have got a few injuries and there might be people out.
I
So,
think that's the biggest thing for me is
yeah,
Fuller's struggling, isn't he? So
yeah. And we'll come on to that in a minute.
I
Yeah.
can definitely see him getting over 10 snaps. And I think it's because of injuries. I don't think Fuller's going to be ready. And if he is, he's going to be like limited.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think he will get over 10
I mean, if
snaps.
Fuller was
And
100%, then he probably wouldn't. He probably
and
would.
this would be a great get right game as well. You know, let's get him right. Let's get him back on song. Let's get his confidence filled up because there's talent there. There's no doubt about it. There is talent there, and we
Yeah,
were all quite
I just
happy.
think he was trying to
Do too much too
play
soon.
hero ball, but as a corner, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. So he's trying to make the superstar play, and he was just getting burned every single time. And I do blame some of it on scheme as well. Like he shouldn't be
I do
leaving it
too.
1-on-1 with AJ Brown all day. I mean, I'm not being funny, mate. You don't do that to any guy. You don't do that to
No,
any corner, even like the Source Gardeners, the top guys at the Jets. You wouldn't go 1-on-1 with him all game.
no.
You know what I mean? You just don't do it, do you? You always have some sort of safety help over the top because AJ Brown's just that good. Same with certain other receivers. You should do the same thing. We don't seem to do that. We think, oh, our corner can deal with that guy. No, they can't.
Yeah.
Wide receivers have got the advantage. Why? Because one, obviously, skill sets, they're running forwards for once. Corners
Yeah.
aren't. So you always got the half a second there. Instantly, you got that. And also, offense knows what they're doing, but defense has got to react. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Plus,
So
it's
it's
an
different.
offensive game, and it's
So
easier to
offense
have pass
is
interferences
yeah, and the way
called,
you
isn't it?
can't hit people, you can't do
Yeah.
naughty things anymore. So again, it's all offense. Offense, it's like it's the percentages are on their favor.
Absolutely.
And so why on earth would you do that? Why you? It just doesn't make any sense to me that why would you do that to a guy? I mean, even St. Juice did it last year up against JJ. Remember?
He did. Yeah. That's
And
right. Yeah.
he's 1-on-1 with JJ all game. And oh, what a game he had! He got burned for 140 yards and a touchdown. And he had a good game. He did have a good game though. But
Yeah.
you see what I mean? Like you can't do that against the elite receivers 1-on-1 with any corner. They're gonna get burned.
Well, we just said it earlier. I mean, every top wide receiver has got over 100 yards.
Yeah.
So something's
Well,
not
what
right.
is that?
Is it around the
Is it a
scheme?
case? Because I don't think we scheme for overprotect. If that makes sense, to kind of make sure the safety's close enough to the corner to make sure this guy can't break on him. Or just, I don't think we don't do that a lot. We kind of go, you're in that zone, you're in that bit, and that's basically if that guy's there, that's your guy, and that's it. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, but you still need help over the top. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because any high quality quarterback will do you over the top with a deep ball. And that's
Absolutely.
what's happened. That's what's happened to us all season. Doesn't make sense. So I do blame Jack still on scheme, and even Drake London had a good game. I mean, Ritter's not a big deep ball guy. You can tell he's not a big deep ball fella. And even
He's
then,
a terrible quarterback, mate.
he's
To be
still
fair,
got nine. He's
I
still got
think he's awful.
nine targets, 125 yards. Okay, no touchdowns, but big game from London. And London, forget London. In some of his games, he's not even at the ball once.
Yeah. But funnily enough, he still hasn't got.
He didn't get any catches.
He still hasn't got a touchdown, and neither has Bijan Robinson. So that's fine by me.
Yeah, man.
Kyle also asked, "How did you think Quan Martin did on his debut?"
Did okay. He did okay. He's very.
I saw him rush. I thought him rush and go for
after
the quarterback.
After the quarterback, he nearly got there. It was the same one that Cody Barton hit him in the face. You know when he jumped
That's
up
right, yeah.
blocked the ball, and they both got there. It was a great blitz from JDR for a change. And obviously, yeah, unfortunately, Barton tried to get out of the way, but obviously it's him in the face with his hands, so he can't do that. But don't forget, though, Quan Martin only had 7 snaps. So it's not like it's a big sample size. But he did okay. He did okay in his first game.
Yeah, he did, and you can only learn.
It's nice to be able to do that. Give him 7 snaps, and then maybe this week he gets 12. You see me and stuff like that. See how he progresses.
One thing I've got one player I've got to shout out as well was Kaliki Hudson, who came in, and that 2-point conversion stop was immense. We really needed that at that point as well. It was a turning point, pivotal moment in the game. So fair play for bringing him in. I'm not sure his snap count either. I couldn't tell you, but he was flying around the ball, and it's nice to see a third linebacker at times. So for me,
it's nice so actually have a normal kind of standard kind of defensive kind of man's
indeed.
Indeed,
yeah. Well, that's about wraps up the game then. But overall, bit of a roller coaster at times. We can't seem to put everything together to have that perfect game over a 4-quarter. It's always like we do well for a half, or we do well for a quarter, or we have a quarter off. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, no matter what you get. And we're 3-3, back to 500, and we can move on from here. So we'll move on to our next segment then, Scouse, which is my favourite segment of the week. It is always Scouse's Sizzle.
Scouse's Sizzle, baby.
Get on, Mr. Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Like that. I do like that. Mike Tyson every time on the show. Thanks for that. We'll have to start paying him soon. Yeah,
that's it. Costs too much money, this guy. So for me, I'm actually not blaming the team this time. I'm actually going to be blaming the NFL.
Wow. Okay.
What do you mean by this? Now, we've got the same shit referees that we had last year against the Giants.
Yeah.
What's that about? I mean,
Terry's phantom PI call.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the dodgy decisions we got in that game was just insane. Literally insane. And yet we got the same crew again. I want to know why they're even still together as a team, those referee lot, because they're obviously dog shit. So they should have been broken up and put onto different teams. Because I'm worried, man. I am worried that these guys are going to shaft us again. Because the Giants aren't going to put loads of points up because their offense is dog shit, and also their offensive line's obliterated. So
we'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll talk about that in a sec. But the thing is, though, I'm worried that we're going to get dicked by some stupid fucking decisions from the referees. We always get it anyway. So phantom PIs, phantom holding calls, all this. We always get it. So I'm just waiting for 10 flags for 120 yards. That's what I'm expecting from our team. Because these guys are just going to call everything and just try and shaft us, man. I'm telling you, I'm so fuck you, NFL. Fuck you, Goodell.
Yeah, it was the Terry lining up offside as well, wasn't it? As well, that was the other one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There were so many in that game last year that it was just like, wait a minute, ridiculous hole that we never got either.
Mm-hmm.
When we were in the red zone.
Yeah, it's on Curtis Samuel on it, the hold. Yeah,
and I seen that obviously the last second PI that was never given, which is again it's like the guy rugby tackled him before he even got to the ball came anywhere near him. Play on, fuck off. So. Yeah, man, I'm worried, but obviously that's my thing, man. That's my thing. Referees, man. I'm worried.
Yeah, I am too. Actually, to be fair, Scouse, it is the same crew. You know what? I totally forgot that. I hadn't even thought about the crew going in there. So
I just can't believe why would the NFL give us it though? Why would you give us the same crap when you know they dicked you last year? What are you trying to do to us, Goodell? Are you trying to make us lose again against the bang average Giants team?
It's the script, Scouse.
The script?
Yeah, it's all scripted. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Do you remember that last year when everyone was saying the NFL was completely scripted? Yeah. I mean, fair play to the NFL for passing it off. They've actually got adverts now that show that this is the script for the year. It's actually quite funny if you watch them back. I'll put them on my Twitter timeline and we can have a look at that. One other bit of news that I forgot about actually was a bit of rumours, bit of whispers from Roger Goodell talking about potentially, they said they were mulling it over, was the words, of having a Super Bowl in London. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
No chance. And it's just the logistics of it.
Yeah.
End of the day, this is America's game. No, we still, this is their number one sport. And we're already pinching games. And so some people love it because obviously it's just a regular season game, and fans would love to come over to Europe anyway. Loads of Americans come over, as you know, every time. There's so many Americans who come over to watch the games and obviously have their holiday in Europe and London, whatever, at the same time. But Super Bowl is different, man. I mean, it really is. Super Bowl's. I mean, it has to be. It's the timings. So
yeah, I mean, when are you going to play that? 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night?
That's what it have to be. It has to be something
it
stupid
makes
like that.
no,
Like, say,
no
it could be
sense at
7 o'clock, like our time. No, I can't because 2 o'clock at Eastern time, and then it'd be what would it be over there? Like 11,
11 Western
Pacific.
time, 11 a.m. Pacific. Yeah.
Oh, it's not. It's not right. You shouldn't have a Super Bowl at 11 a.m. You know what I mean?
No.
It's not. That's not cool, man.
Well, was it two?
Makes sense.
It's been the London games have been like a 2 o'clock kickoff in Eastern time, so that's
Yeah,
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Pacific, isn't it?
Yeah,
9 a.m. Pacific, yeah, or 7 Pacific. I can't remember.
9.
I can't remember the time zones, but
it's
but
5 hours, isn't it,
lot.
from Los Angeles to DC on that? If you go
That's
by
7,
that route,
is that 7 hours difference?
It might be. I thought it was 5, but yeah.
No, to LA to us.
Oh, to us, to LA, that is no. It's 7 for us. Yeah, 7 for us. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, 7.
So yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man.
That's that you can't do that. You physically cannot do that. It's impossible.
It's actually 8.
Is it 8? Is it?
It's actually 8 hours. Yeah, stuck now. So it's 8 hours. I wouldn't even to LA. So that's awful. So you start at 8 o'clock our time, then you're talking what midday their time.
No, that's impossible.
No, it's not fair, really. And I mean,
even at 10 o'clock.
Hell yeah, you would. I'll be there even if I couldn't get a ticket, because it's Super Bowl.
Even a 10 o'clock kickoff our time would be ridiculous.
And it's brutal for the players then. 10 o'clock start. It's not
all day.
It's not really right for the players then. I mean, I watched a couple of American kind of just like snippets on YouTube and different like short videos are talking about this.
Yeah,
and they were saying, one, we will riot if it happened, right? That's number one, right? And then the second one was, what was it now? Oh, that's trail of thought. It was like they were moaning, saying, "Oh, these guys are not going to be able to adjust to the time to make it a real game and all the rest of it." And what happens if like a London team actually got in a Super Bowl? I mean, how bad would that be for the other team and all this crap, right? But the thing is, the Super Bowl, one thing that it does have is that week in between.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
There's a week off, doesn't it? Because that's where
that's when the Pro Bowls
and then the Super Bowl. And those guys don't play in the Pro Bowl anyway, because even if they're selected, they don't play in that. So it's kind
of like, though, in that week in between when you get to Super Bowl week, you've got Radio Row, you've got all of the logistics.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
I mean, but
again, would the media come over? Again, it's a logistic problem, you see, because it isn't just one-off television guys like it is now. It isn't just a couple of Sky Sports guys, a couple of NBC dudes. It's everyone, isn't it? It's every single news outlet.
The world. It's the world that's there. Yeah, not just America. It's everywhere. The whole world is watching it.
Yeah, our guys go over there.
Was it 2.2 billion people watched the last Super Bowl?
Something ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, so again, logistically, it just doesn't work. Would I love to see one? Hell yeah. I mean, bring it on if they're going to do it. I'll be hopefully first person to get a ticket, but in general, no chance.
So do you think then that they're pushing towards now? I mean, we all know that they're pushing, trying to get a franchise at some point. It is going to happen. But with the 2 Frankfurt games as well this season, you're now, if you take it as read that we're going to have 5 games next year in London, then you add the 2 on for the other European destination. Maybe you add another one for, Canada or Mexico, perhaps, that they've done before. That is the entire home schedule of a team. That's 8. So
yeah, but obviously Mexico. I wouldn't really.
I get that they wouldn't count, but I know what you mean.
Because obviously it's that flights and stuff and time zones.
To have 7 in Europe,
yeah. Well,
we're not far.
This is what it is, isn't it? It's a gradual rollout, isn't it? And this is what's been ever since it's first started in 2007, coming to London. It's a gradual rollout. One game. Then all of a sudden it was 2. Then it was 3. You see me over the period of like 15 years now. and that's why I think there will be a London team. There will be a London team.
Yeah,
I
100%.
just don't know what the script will be long term with that. Purely because every English fan gonna go, oh, I might as well just support this team now and go and get a season ticket and be there every week. No, because we're Washington fans and there's going to be Giants fans and whatever else, and we're not going to change allegiances just because they've moved over. Okay, you
I mean,
Jack fans,
don't get me wrong. Some will buy a season ticket just to see the other teams and sit there in the Washington jersey. You know, I know
Yeah,
Pete
yeah.
Chile
So
would do something like that probably.
Then is that a true home field advantage for somebody?
No, not
If
at all.
you only
But
get because like at the moment the Jags are the home team.
yeah, that's it. That's
They
what
are
I'm saying.
used to being over here now. They know they've got their routine down and everything. That's why they always play well over here now. The first few years they were crap and they got battered by everybody because they weren't a good team and they weren't used to the kind of the travel. Now they're used to the travel and they got some good players. So now
Trevor Lawrence has got he's got a pad in London, hasn't he? So he's got his own place.
Yeah,
it's like, you know.
I mean, okay. Why would you buy a place? You know this thing is going to be the long-term game. And it's going to be the Jags because unfortunately they don't have a great fan base over in Jacksonville. There's just not big. There's not enough people going every week. Even though they've got a good team.
I mean, if you look at Florida, what have teams you got in Florida? You've got Miami, you've got Tampa Bay, and then you've got Jags. And the Jags just do not get any.
Never mind the college teams.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
teams, there's another like 4 or 5 there as well. So
you've got the U, you've got Gators. So yeah, there's two.
Seminoles,
yeah, as well. Yeah.
So there's 3 I could just list top of my head. There's probably the other ones. Florida Atlantic's another one, even though it's not a big game, a big thing here. But Morris came from there, Alfred Morris, remember? Florida
Atlantic. Yeah.
So there is these other colleges, and there's loads of them in Florida. I mean, it's just like obviously there's not enough fans to go around. That's what it looks like. Unfortunately, Jacksonville misses out because they're at the very north of Florida.
Yeah, they're at the top, aren't they? Yeah.
They all live kind of like Gainesville down, really. If you look about population density. But yeah, man, I think it's happening. It's definitely happening. The Jags,
I think so too.
Jags are going to be the.
Well, it's just too many connections to not even think that is going to happen. I mean, look at Khan, who owns it. You know, he owns Fulham. He owns half of Wembley or 3/4 of Wembley, whatever it is. There's the new deal that's just gone ahead with Spurs. There's the new deal that's just gone ahead with Wembley. It's just, you've got the NFL Academy that's here now. You know, it's building up. You've got a headquarters in the middle of there. All the
NFL Jags players are using the Fulham's
training facilities. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All the things around there. So everything's been set up for them already.
Yeah,
the guys.
I mean, there was a few complaints around the turf, weren't there, at Spurs this time around?
It was too hard and stuff.
Yeah, it's like playing on concrete, but I've not heard. We've never had that complaint before, and it's a bespoke, obviously, specialist turf that's brought in and out. I mean, if you ever watch the video of how it's done, it's pretty awesome, to be honest. Yeah. You know, how it all robotically comes in and out. So yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, but I think, 5 years maybe we are probably looking at it, but it's just got to be the logistics. Closer.
You mentioned the 7 European games this year. If it works well, and the fans
just got to be the logistics is a problem, because if you're traveling from the West Coast, that's hard to come across here, and a lot of them do it. Look at Tennessee at the weekend. They said, you know what, we're gonna come here, we're gonna fly in on Friday morning. So they flew in on Saturday morning. I apologise. So they flew in Saturday morning into here. Now, I know Jesse took the piss out of us on other pods and said, oh, jet lag, yeah, it's not really a thing. It is a huge thing. You are absolutely
the difference is, these guys aren't sitting in coach. You know what
I mean?
No,
they're not. I get that.
These guys are sitting in first class.
It's not like there's 3 hairy-ass men sat in the smallest seats ever.
Exactly. People snoring next to it. No, it's not happening. These guys have got a high. You like to think if you're traveling that distance, you're going to be getting a high quality plane. It's not going to be just a standard. So, these guys aren't going to be jet lagged.
That's why Russell Wilson was doing high knees in the inside the planes. Yeah, of course he was. Yeah. Shut up, Russ. Idiot. Anyway,
Just keep
so
cooking.
we'll get on
lads.
then to we'll get on to preview the New York Giants, but let's first go through the injury report because this is really important actually. So especially when we get to the New York Giants side. So the injury report as of Wednesday. Now I know it's odd. We seem to take this podcast, we do it every week, we put it out there, and then bang, Thursday's injury report comes out. And I'm like, oh, cheers for that. So it's normally about an hour after we finish recording. But so far, this is Wednesday's injury report. So Kendall Fuller has a knee and did not practice. We have Christian Rodriguez Jr. He had a personal issue and didn't practice. Jonathan Allen had a knee and was limited. Cameron Curl, ankle, limited. Christian Holmes, hamstring, limited. Paul, back, limited. James Smith-Williams, foot, limited. Montez Sweat, finger, limited. Sam Cosby, knee, full. And Benjamin St. Juice, hand, full. But they're still on the injury report. So even though they're full, they're still on the injury report. So I don't expect them to be on the injury report today. But the only one there that really stands out is Kendall Fuller, which is trending to him probably not even being. Yeah. Which is why we talked about Emmanuel Forbes before, so it's going to be a bigger lion's share for Emmanuel Forbes. And then probably Danny Johnson as well. He's going to have to share some snaps.
You're going to see the Giants come after Forbes. Mm-hmm. If he starts, whenever he's in the game, they're going to have to try and target him. It just has to be the right tactic from them. He's long confidence. He's a rookie. Let's go after him. Put your best receiver, even though those receivers aren't great. Put your best receiver on him, and let's go.
So from the Giants side, then it started all last week, really. And Josh Ezeudu went to IR. They put him on IR on Tuesday this week. He was the starting left tackle and has been since week 1. And he was actually listed as their backup left tackle, but he started in relief of Andrew Thomas.
He's still out?
He is on IR now. And
Thomas is on IR?
No, sorry. Josh Guy is on IR. Because Andrew Thomas was injured also last week, they looked at a left tackle called Justin Pugh, who's actually a left guard. And he came in, and if you saw his straight off the couch, yeah, it's brilliant. Like when obviously they announced what college they've been at, like, oh yeah, here I am, Andy Lockhart, Florida, Gators or whatever. It'd be and he just said, Justin Pugh straight off the couch, which was quite funny because he genuinely was straight off the couch. So looking at their injury report, their offensive line is absolutely decimated. Andrew Thomas is still did not practice with a hamstring. Right tackle Evan Neal did not practice with an ankle. Centre John Michael Schmitz with a shoulder did not practice. Offensive tackle Matthew Pert did not tackle. He won't tackle because he's got a shoulder injury. So he didn't practice also as well. So that's your backup right tackle, your right tackle, your left tackle, your backup left tackle is on IR. Your center is out, and then you've got a guy who's sitting on his couch playing at left tackle and is going to start at left tackle and has only had 2 starts at left tackle. And then today, 2 hours before we got on this show, Shane Lemieux has torn his bicep. Another offensive lineman out for the New York Giants. They are absolutely decimated on the line. Also, another key
against our D-line, haven't you?
No, I know you've got to like it. I mean, the other one on the key there, another key one who didn't practice and hasn't practiced all week is probably their best receiver in Wan'Dale Robinson. He's got a knee injury, hasn't practiced at all.
He's always injured him, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He's always on the injury report. Don't know why. And then limited, we've got Daniel Jones was limited. Saquon Barkley.
I've heard he's not going to play.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play either. Saquon Barkley was also limited with an ankle. Adoree Jackson, their standout cornerback, was also limited with a knee. And Graham Gano, their kicker, is also limited with a knee.
Oh, nice.
So it does not look good.
Some of these guys are going to play, though, even though they're limited.
Oh, yeah, even if you're limited, you're
trending
towards going forward, aren't you? It's when you don't practice, that's when you're like, oh, okay, right, he hasn't practiced all week.
Yeah,
There's
and then you got
a
to
bit of
work
a
out, is
problem
it a
there.
vet day off or is it not? Well,
Exactly. And actually the injury report is pretty good normally from Washington perspective, where they tell you it's a day off, or
yeah,
it's a personal reason for whatever reason. So yeah, not looking good for them at all. I mean, they are literally on the bare bones of their arse for offensive linemen, and they were working out
and the
4 new
QB. I mean,
offensive
yeah, you got
linemen.
Tyrod Taylor. I mean, let's
Well,
face it.
Tyrod Taylor's there. Ian Book was worked out this week by the Giants. I mean, what is going on? I mean, Carson Wentz can't even get a job, so that's very
That's how
interesting.
bad he is. That's how
I
bad he is.
know.
Paid him 28 mil last year. We got absolutely our pants pulled down.
But yeah, looking at this, I mean, the keys to victory. Then, Scouse, what do we think it is?
Dominated their O line with our D line. It has to be the way. Pressure. The quarterback all day long. All
So
day long.
looking at that, then you're going into this team are going in with a third string left tackle,
Off the
couch, a second string center, a third string right tackle, a second string right guard, and a third string right tackle. And they have absolutely no depth whatsoever behind behind that five. If we take that five, the people behind it are people who've had workouts and have been signed today. I think they pulled up 3 players from the practice squad and they signed another 2. So
these
none
guys
of them
are all
have had
bums
any
on the street.
snaps.
You know what I
None of
mean?
them have had any
don't know the
snaps
scheme,
whatsoever.
don't know anything. So
Nothing. Yeah.
the reason why I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but we
Go on,
just
mate.
got the new Commanders injury list.
Oh, let's go for it then, Scouse.
Just gone through, so I've got it before here. So Kendall Fuller, knee, did not practice.
He's not playing, is he?
He's not going to play, is he? Chris
No.
Rodriguez, again, it says personal, did not participate.
But something might have gone wrong in his family, which you don't know about. And fair play.
Last time he was ill, wasn't it? 2 weeks out with illness.
But he played okay last week. But again, would you suit up
snaps.
really? Limited, yeah. So
limited snaps, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean?
It was, yeah.
John Allen, knee, limited. Cam Curl, ankle, limited. Holmes, hamstring, limited. Chris Paul was on it with back.
Yeah, he was on it before, yeah.
Limited. James Smith-Williams, foot, limited. Montez Sweat, still limited. Cosme and St. Just were full.
So yeah, that's 2 days full for them too at the end.
Yeah.
So they're going to play. I mean, anyone that's limited there, they're going to trend towards limited. So I would say we're not going to see Kendall Fuller.
They're going to be game day decisions, aren't they? Let's face it.
John
we're not
going to see. Do you call up 3 running backs then? Do you need 3 running backs?
Well, looks as if Chris Rodriguez can't be available for whatever reason.
It might be Mr. Gore then gets a call up.
It'd be interesting to see if you just get called up. Don't forget though, you can only do it 4 times a year or something, can't you?
3, yeah, it's 3, and then you've got to make a decision.
Yeah, keep him or you don't keep him. So it's one of them. It just depends. I mean, obviously, can you get away with the 2 as long as you don't get injured? Yeah, you can. You can get away with Gibson and B Rob being the guys. But yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with them. Obviously, he's got personal issues. He's obviously had. He's been ill the last few weeks as well. Before So something's going on with him we don't know about.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, yeah, as you said, I think the key to victory here is dominate that defensive line. The offensive line. We have to see sacks from Chase Young. We have to see sacks from Montez Sweat. We have to see the big boys up the front. If I was
told those 2 guys, I'd be embarrassed if I don't get at least 3 sacks.
Oh, it's 2 each is a minimum.
That offensive line, you're thinking, I'm destroying that all day.
2 is an absolute minimum that I think you've got to get there. I mean, yeah, honestly, I think from the other perspective and the other side of the ball, we've got to keep people like Kayvon Thibodeau quiet because he always seems to have a Hall of Fame game against us. It
helps when Leno misses the protection.
Oh yeah, remember last year when he shouted back, "Watch out!" Do you remember that last time?
Watch out!
I mean, come on now.
And he just got caned, So, but yeah, Thibodeau's obviously a huge one. Their teams on defense is still pretty decent. They had a really good game against Buffalo as well. Really impressed I was with their defense. It kept Allen quiet for most of the game.
And Deontay Banks isn't a bad corner either from Maryland.
To be fair, have you
Yeah,
seen the stats? It's ridiculous.
very
Like,
good. Yeah, he's been very
he's
good
taking the
so
number one
far.
receivers, and no one's got past like 40 yards or something against him. The guy's like been on fire. So yeah, so he's definitely a guy you got to look out for. I think we should just torch him. Just get some deep balls over the top. Just
To
test it out.
Terry, just straight out,
Just
Bosch,
test
off
it
you
out
go.
straight. Yeah, the first play of the game, just deep balls to Terry. Just see what this Banks can do.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. But yeah, I think that too. I think that's the key to victory on offense. Obviously, get the ball out quicker, protection. Got to look for the game. It's the same game plan as it was last week to Atlanta. Absolutely no different at all.
Yeah, stop
But
the run.
the defense has got to be a bit better. Play that Cinco package as we talked about before.
Stop
5-man
Barkley,
front.
and you stopped half their offense. It's as simple as
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. And Tyrod Taylor, he's 30. What is he? 34, and he's
I don't know his age.
and he's never been. I don't know. And he's
He was
never
elusive
been a
when he was
star.
younger. He was reasonably quick and stuff. But
Yeah.
but
just
again,
needs to avoid getting his lungs punctured by doctors, doesn't he? But you know what I mean? It's just
yeah, rib shot. No thanks, sir. I'd rather breathe.
well, that's what it was, wasn't it? It was he went for a rib shot
yeah.
and they punctured his lungs. So
injection, painkiller, and
I mean, as John Taman said on the other pod, he said if you were sitting in a car with Tyrod Taylor, you'd move to the back seat, wouldn't you? Because you do not want to be sat next to him. Because no doubt about it, something is going wrong. He has always had some serious. It just gets nicking injuries. Always. Yeah. He's 34. He's 34 years old. Yeah. So 34 years old, a perennial backup quarterback. Never really held it down as a starter. Yeah, he played okay against the Bills.
I mean, no. If Daniel Jones plays. Like he normally kills us, but with their offensive,
it does, yeah.
line, if that offensive line's like the way it's going to be, no, they're going to get him killed. He's already
whoever the backup quarterback is. Whoever the backup quarterback is, let's see what happens. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Or are you going to play it smart or not? Are you going to put your £40 million a year guy on the? Who's banged up big time with a neck problem? Don't forget he was out for like nearly a full season a couple of years ago because of a neck. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, he's struggling with the neck again. And then it's like, oh yeah, Washington coming to town with their defensive line against our absolute third stringers. Mate, this doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense to play Daniel Jones, even if he's kind of available. If you know what I mean? Mm. He's the main merchandise. He's the most, well, supposedly the most important player. I know the Giants fans probably won't like me saying that, but because half of them hate him, let's face it, if not more.
Yeah, they do.
But end of the day, he's paying them $40 million a year.
It's ridiculous.
You got to protect them, man. You got to protect them.
So we'll move on to our fan questions then. That we've got Christian Burt from UK HTTC and Red Zone in the Lab UK with you, your fellow co-host. He said, I think it's unlikely myself, but do you think there's any trades in or out at the trade deadline? Now, there's been a little bit of a talk here around Chase Young potentially being traded to the Ravens, but that is just rumor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there'll be anything coming in that's worthwhile.
Yeah,
because you got to think about it. Ron's in his last year, really. Let's face it. Even though he's got another year left on his deal, but really he's in his last year. And the Martys are going to be fired. That's 100% happening. Especially with this draft class this year, this one we just had. Well, they've been poor, let's face it. The picks have been poor. So they're going. So if you're Josh
Harris,
our boy, yeah. My mind went blank.
I know, yeah, I've had one as well, so don't worry.
So if you're Josh Harris, do you go, oh yeah, I'll let you trade for a big name guy? No, because you know deep down that they're going to be fired. And if you think about kind of going, you mentioned Chase Young. Well, unless you're getting at least a second, there's no point in even talking, because we're going to get a guaranteed third rounder if he walks as compensatory pick. So it's either a second rounder or higher, or don't even come to the table. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you make out. If someone said, hey, he is 2/3 or a third and a fourth and a player or something like that, then you might entertain it, but I'm with you. I don't think anything significant is coming in. I would obviously love to see a linebacker of some description come in. I think we'd all like to see that. And potentially maybe a situational edge rusher. Don't know.
We could be. We've got edge rushers, man. We're fine with
We
that.
have, yeah. I
We've
think
got
because of
Hill,
the
Smith Williams.
yeah, so I mean a
You know,
Barda.
these
I think
guys,
because of
Barda,
the
you've got loads, so don't worry about that. I think for me, it's kind of like if you're going to go and get somebody,
corner.
go and get me a tight end.
Good shout.
Go
Very
and
good
get
shout.
me a vet who knows what he's doing.
Austin Eckler.
He'd be nice to have, to be fair, but
I
get
know.
rid of Gibson. Go to Gibson and get Eckler in.
Yeah,
Ooh,
wants
imagine that.
wants to get out. So does Jonathan Taylor though. He wants to get out of Indianapolis. So it'll be
Well, not
interesting to
anymore.
see.
He signed a new deal, didn't he?
Did he sign a new deal?
Yeah, 42
Genuinely?
mil, 3-year deal.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, I did not see that. So I must have
yeah.
missed
So that's
that
why
news.
that's why he's back in the team.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
fair
Yeah,
enough. Big
yeah.
Jim's put his hand in his pocket then, has he? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. And they end up bending over because at the end of the day, these guys are just too important, man. You can play hardball all you want, but you're going to lose eventually as a player.
Great question, Christian. Thank you for that one. And if you haven't subscribed already, go or looked at his website, go and check it out. If you just Google search
Yeah, big
UKHTTC,
time blogger.
you will find him. He's a writer, he's a
Good.
blogger, big time guy, really, really good guy. And also subscribe to Red Zone in the Lab. Have a watch of them every Saturday. I think you're on with Deuce, aren't you? Doing the
Sundays.
UK
We're
side
Sundays.
of things. Oh, it's Sunday morning. Sorry, my
We're Sundays
apologies.
at
Yeah.
about 10 UK time, something like that in the morning.
So check them out. Richard Cameron comes to us and he's got two questions here. And his first one says, what do you think of Dotson working with the special teams as a kick holder?
If that is actually legit, he has been. I've not noticed it, but I've not watched it, so he could be right. I mean, if he is right, then I'm thinking.
I did see that he was working with the special teams, but as a kick holder,
well, maybe he needs to get some ball, actually get the ball to catch some balls. That's one thing. And also that tells me again, if that's the case, that's why he's struggling.
Yeah.
Again, why he's not playing well when he's punting. So he's struggling with his back because he was struggling with his back at the start of the season.
Yeah, he was. He had a back injury, didn't he? Through pre-season.
So obviously, think about it though. The position that he's in, he's knelt down, he's bent over, he's got to catch the ball and all this and do fast things dead quick. If you got a bad back, that hurts, man. That hurts all the time. So,
plus, punting's not going to be great on your back either with your technique.
No, exactly. And to be fair, back can also lead to like sciatic type symptoms, which then obviously you get leg pain with it, and then obviously kicking's just a nightmare, you know. So maybe might be a reason. Obviously he's not on the injury report, but again, he might be one of them guys that you just don't want to mention it. Do you know what I mean? To like rock the boat.
I mean, you are right though. We've had other punters come in throughout the, I mean, that other guy, I can't remember, was it against the Browns in preseason, and he punted, and it was like, fucking hell, he's done all right here. You know what I mean? He got some film. He got some film out.
Yeah,
and
he did okay, didn't he? I remember his name now.
Decent.
He did okay.
He was decent. So, yeah, I'm with you, Richard. It's a strange one to see someone like Jahan, go on to special teams and do that. But ultimately, you got to learn that role.
It could be a punishment. It could even be a punishment for him, saying, "Look, man, you need to sort yourself out. You need to sort out your hands. So here you go. Take all these long snaps from Cheese." With his dodgy snapping,
with his changed technique,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, actually, to be fair to him,
on the floor.
To be fair to him, there was nothing last week, was there? So, well
no
done,
problems.
Chief.
Yeah, it was fine. So, but maybe in training all over the gaff. So maybe
that
knows.
So Richard's also said with Tuhill being last week's standout unsung hero, who do you think this week's will be?
Good question. Unsung hero that's going to make the difference.
Yeah, there's someone that's going to make the difference. Going to be that standout player that you don't think.
I'm going to go with Tuhill again.
Be there. Wow. Okay. Good shout.
I'm going to go for Tuhill again because I think he's definitely going to get game time. Montez is still struggling with his hand. He'll play obviously, but I think with his snaps, Tuhill does anything like he did last week, which I think. Why can't he? It's not like he's taken on the amazing offensive line like we just mentioned. Yeah, I'm going for Tuhill to again the 2-sack game.
You know who I'm going with? Emmanuel Forbes Jr. Pick 6 is inbound. It's coming. He's gonna but he's going to get back on
Pick
the
six.
horse.
Yeah. All right,
He's going to take a pick six, and we're going to be like, "Oh my god, this guy is amazing. Why did we ever bench him?" And there's going to be a
Because he
Twitter
got
meltdown.
burned.
There's going to be a Twitter meltdown about, "Oh well, you know," and half will be on the fence, half will be on the other fence, and he's going to have a brilliant game, and he's going to be the unsung hero. You mark my words, that's probably not going to happen. But there you
Hot
go.
take. Yeah, is that your hot take?
Hot take. That's my hot take, or my lukewarm take. Yeah. Anyway, and the last question we've got for today is from Deuce from Red Zone in the Lab. He says, "Does Jamin have a breakout game with 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 sacks, and batted balls?" I mean, if you haven't seen it already, please go and have a look at Deuce's Twitter, because that, although it was a setup because there's nobody behind him, but the part where he obviously was calling the play that Jamin had his interception was one of the funniest videos I've seen in a long time. He was in his element, bless him, down at Atlanta, and he looked like he had a whale of a time.
I've never heard his voice go so high.
Yeah, brilliant, wasn't it? It was absolutely brilliant.
It was funny, man. It was funny. The answer to that, Deuce, is no.
Straight up, no. That's it.
Straight up, nope. Because you know what you get from Jamin? He'll play well one game and then he'll be dog the next game. I mean, could he?
I think he's
technically he could, because again we're taking on a bad offense this week, with loads of injuries. So he could technically, you know, and it wouldn't be so much of a big time shock. But for me, you know, he probably wouldn't even get half that.
Yeah, I think he will have a good game again, and I think he's turned that corner. I think he's moved forward. 8 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. Could understand the tackle for loss. Not sure if he gets 8 solo tackles and 2 sacks. That's maybe a little bit much, but yeah, I think he'll have a good game again.
You just don't play enough pressure. We don't blitz enough to, especially linebacker blitz, to be able to
get there. But
to get there enough to get 2 sacks, you know.
But look, at the end of the day, this game, this is what we're going into. It's 1-5 Giants at home. We never beat the Giants, or we seemingly struggle at MetLife.
I thought we were away.
No, at MetLife. We struggle at MetLife. Yeah. So it's the 1-5 Giants. We're going there.
I mean, just think it, right? If we can just get the leads, like start off, just a nice drive, like against the Eagles, for example, the very first drive of the game, went down, got touchdown. If we did that against the Giants, their fans are just going to go straight off. They're going to
crumble. They'll crumble.
Players' heads off.
They will crumble.
Yeah, the fans will go mental, absolutely mental. I mean, the horrible fans, the Giants, most of them anyway. So it's not a very nice place to be when you're getting beat. Even if it's early in the game, they do turn in their team very quickly.
They do,
even more than we do.
So we'll finish it off then, Scouts, with score predictions. What's your score prediction for the game?
I think it's going to be. I think we're going to win this one. As long as the refs are decent, I think we'll win this one. And I think we win it by about 7. So I'm going to say 24-17.
Good shout. So it's very similar to last week then, that, because it was 24-16 last week. I'm going to go 31-10. I think we absolutely batter them. Blow them out the water.
We never blow out teams, mate, no matter how bad the other team is.
I know. I'm looking at the. I know stats can be pulled any way you want to pull them, but I'm looking at the stats here, and scoring wise, New York are averaging 12 points per game. We are averaging 26 points per game as a score. Then giving up points.
We're averaging 26 points on offense.
Yeah. Which
so
is
we're averaging 17. We were averaging 18, weren't we, last year?
It's 14th in the NFL at the moment. That giving up points, we are averaging 30 or just under 30. It's like 29 point whatever. So basically, it's 30 points per game, and that sees us 29th. But right next door to us in 28th spot are New York Giants, and they're giving up 28 points per game. So that's telling you there, both defenses are terrible, or have been for a while, but New York just cannot score points. But we are scoring points, and that's why we're winning games, and that's why we've got 3 wins on the board.
So this is why I do think they'll get 17, even if you think, where are they getting 17 from? Do you know that the Giants have not had a touchdown on offense
3.5 games, isn't it?
It was I think it was 16 quarters. Yeah.
Yeah,
The only
3.5 games. Yeah.
the only TD they've had is on the defensive pick six. That's bad. It's bad, man. The offense is bad, but you just know, man. You just know they're going to get points against us because that's what they just do.
Jalen Hyatt as a
right team.
breakout game.
We are good. We are a get right team for the teams, man. So
don't
keep
be
it tight.
eternal.
Don't keep it tight for ages, and then hopefully we'll just nick it at the end. That's what I'm thinking.
I know you are a realist, Scouse, as you call yourself, or the eternal pessimist, whichever way you want to look at it. But this is a team we've got to blow out. We have to go there and win this game. I am going to be more, and I'm going to be more and more annoyed than I have been the entire season if with this offensive line that they're putting out, we do not win this game. Now, I know I've just said, oh, yeah, we're going to score 30 points. It's, 31-10. Yeah, it's going to be great. But no, in all seriousness, if we win by a point, I don't care. It's an in-division game. NFC East games are like this. We know
family
what
business, man. Family business. Things always tight in family business games, man. Always.
Got to do it right. But that just about does us then, Scouse. Anything else left from you?
No, mate.
No, happy.
Oh,
so
let's go. Let's get this dub.
I want to be 4-3, and I want another victory pod next week. Thanks everyone for listening. Obviously, download, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching there. Download if you're listening to it on your favorite podcast app. You can find us at ScouseAndy20, at ScottyH84, and at 1PointSafety4. And then that is it. Have a great weekend, everyone, and let's get that win.
Bye.